Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the fifth ever Ritz podcast. Joining me today is Ayush, Nishant, Nathaniel, and David. Uh, we're gonna do recaps of all the series so far, as well as a little quick recap of yesterday's games. So to start off, we'll start with the Lakers series. It's currently 2-1 series score. The Lakers are up. Do you guys think that the Lakers will give up one more game to the Blazers? Because personally, I don't think so. I think the only reason that the Blazers won the first game was due to Hassan Whiteside's play, because Hassan
No,
Whiteside,
they didn't win. No, there's only one reason they didn't win. The Lakers' offense was
yeah,
absolutely terrible.
yeah, that was
It was the thing that dogs do at the end. It was so bad. And the reason for that is it's been like 4 months since they played offense seriously. And if you ask me, like when the restart happened, they're the best team in the league, and they had the worst offensive rating in the bubble, I think. And it just took them a game to flip the switch on offense, and
I
their
think
defense was always amazing.
I think that's
If
partly
I
because
just want
of
to give everyone a
Hassan
stat.
Whiteside's. Okay, wait, hold
I
on.
want to give everyone a stat. Throughout the first eight, not first eight, first 10 games that they played in the bubble, Portland averaged 124 points, and in the 3 games they played against the Lakers, they scored 100, and then like 80 something, I think, or 90 something, and then 108. So Lakers defense is really clamping, the hottest team in the league.
And then I think that's, like as you said, I think um that's part due to Hassan Whiteside's play, because not AD Hassan Whiteside matchup in game one, it really caused AD to hesitate keep to hesitate to shoot. He wasn't shooting that much, and then when he did, he pretty much bricked every shot. So,
Yeah,
but Whiteside didn't keep this up in the second game, so that's why AD started to find his rhythm again.
yeah, I think Hassan Whiteside was a factor limiting AD. I think though it's more on the part about like just the Lakers being bad. I think that all of our stuff about the Lakers, like cold streak and worrying that Lakers might lose, that all came true in like the first game. And then it seems that the Lakers have learned, like game two was Anthony Davis being super aggressive. LeBron scored 10 points, but he only played 20 minutes, so I guess he wasn't trying much. I guess he was conserving his energy or whatever since he knew AD could do it. And then in game
Oh,
three he
he
scored
just
like
he just he
40
did. They
points.
didn't need to play. They're up like 30 the whole
Yeah,
second half. It didn't make a difference.
yeah, I
I
think
only got to watch the fourth quarter, like the last 3 minutes of the third quarter of this game three, and I saw like Anthony Davis take four straight wide open mid range jumpers. He made three and he got fouled on the fourth one. Like I don't even know what the Trailblazers were doing, and like he wasn't making. He was just swishing every single jump shot.
I saw that play too. I think Dame is too tired to carry this team. He like that's the difference between Dame and Curry. Like Curry can keep this up for a whole season, and he's also better and he has better range. It's just people forget about him now because he's not playing because he's
I
injured.
think I think I think Damian Lillard is not the like forget best point guard in the league. I'd say even Russell Westbrook's better than him.
Yeah, I don't. I think he's good on his streaks, but that doesn't mean he's a good overall point guard. His defense
I mean,
is
he did
significantly worse than
great. He did
Curry's.
great this.
Bad.
No, I mean, he did great this season, like
Yeah.
dragging them to the playoffs. Like the 50, 51, 61, that's no joke. That's really good. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you barely made the 8th seed. And let's not forget, Russell Westbrook did this for an entire season and dragged his team to the 6th seed. And I think we'd all agree that that Thunder team was worse than this Blazers team.
Yeah, that's he
Also,
had
just
worse off.
joining the
Yeah.
podcast is Oscar. So let's give him an introduction.
Joining me also is Oscar. Welcome, Oscar.
Hi. All right. So
All
yeah,
right.
one thing I want to say about the Lakers and Blazers series was if you watch Carmelo play, he's actually been playing really good defense. He's like known as a bad defender, but throughout the games that like I've watched a bit of each game, and when he's guarding LeBron, I felt like he was actually like putting effort into the defensive end and like really
That's
like
because they
playing
don't
good
need him
defense.
for offense that much.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like even like when he was younger, he never played defense like this. I feel like he's actually been working on his defense over the time that people are in quarantine, and I think he's finally showing it.
Right. Does anyone else have anything to say about this series, or can we move on to the second
I
seed
feel like
series?
I feel like people are getting ahead of themselves on this Damian Lillard hype. People are saying he has better range than Curry. People are saying that he's pretty much the best point guard in the league, and that's just not true. I feel like, just calm down. He's not that good. And then also, sorry, I feel like if the Blazers want to win another game, the X factor is Hassan Whiteside. As I talked about, I'm on the Hassan Whiteside hype train. If Hassan Whiteside plays as well as he did in the first game, I feel like, the Anthony Davis is going to be hesitant. Their paint defense is going to be insane, and then he also contributes on offense. He was facilitating a lot that one game in game one. So
I think we should just move on to
yeah.
the next series. It's Mavericks versus Clippers. The Clippers, I think yesterday they took a 2-1 lead, but that Porzingis ejection could have flipped the tide. Maybe the Mavericks took game one. If
Yeah, Luca went to the locker room with an ankle injury. The Clippers have started to find their rhythm, although there's a good chance that like this goes to 6 games.
I think it'll
I
go
just won't
7.
bet on it.
I think this will
Yeah,
go to 7.
I'm not betting on it going to 7. I think it's gonna
The
stay at
reason
six.
the reason I'd say it goes to 7 is A, you've got one of the best players in the league who can put up the best stat lines in the league, and you've also got you, and then they're a young team, so as they have more playoff games, like most of those guys haven't even been to the playoffs. So the more games they play, the more confident they become, and especially if they get another win or two, then they'd be super confident because like we're taking games from the Clippers, who everyone thought would be the favorite. So I think they have the potential to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Paul.
Paul George hurt his shoulder, so I think like that can make a big impact on the series. Like in the last few games, Paul George has been like shooting really bad, and I feel like if his shoulder continues to be hurt, his shot could be like just not falling for the rest of the series, and that could be a big blow to the Clippers, where I
I
could
think
actually see the
He's in
Mavericks
a
winning.
he's in a massive slump right now, and Kawhi is pretty much carrying. But the reason that they're still pulling away in these games are, they're getting good contributions from their role players. Like yesterday, Shaman and Zubac had like I think both of them had 15 plus. So that's pretty
I
much
mean, that's good, but I think it's also a little bit of luck. I mean, their two best in the 2 games they won. The Mavericks, either one of their 2 best players wasn't there for like a large part of the second half, even when it was a close game.
I think it's been Kawhi that's been helping the Clippers win. I mean, he's averaging 34 points. I think he's averaging a double double for the postseason, which is like I don't think he averages 10 points in the or close to that many. It's actually 11 rebounds. I think Kawhi's just playing amazing. I think he'll go to 5. Uh, and yeah, like the fifth game would be close, but Kawhi will just be like pretty clutch and just clamp Luke if need be, and then I think
They
it'll be.
don't put him on, but they put Morris, I think, on him, which I don't understand why. Actually, I mean, they put Kawhi on Porzingis, but then you also got Paul George. I mean, you don't have Patrick Beverly, but you got Paul George to put on Luca, so why not put him instead of Marcus Morris?
Yeah, I
He
also
ain't giving you anything on offense, so why not
Daniel,
use his defense?
but Daniel, I actually agree with you. Even though like I can see the Clippers going to 7, I think the Clippers are going to win 5 because I think that the way Kawhi's been playing right now on both sides of the ball is like insane, and I think that the Mavericks are just not experienced enough to compete with them yet. So
does anybody else have any more
that's my
thoughts
take.
regarding the series? No? All right, let's move on to the Rockets series. The Rockets had a 2-0 lead going into this game 3. There were 2 convincing wins, and then the Thunder pulled away in the last game in overtime. I feel like Chris Paul is too much of a leader to just like let the Rockets get a 4-1 series. The Thunder need to stop playing to the Rockets system. And yesterday, that's what they did. They moved the ball around and they tired out the Rockets defenders. In the first 2 games, they were dumping it down to the post, and they were taking very inefficient shots. And I mean, Steven Adams can only do too much. So yeah,
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I also felt like if in the last game, Daniel House could have sealed the game with the free throws, and he kind of messed up. Also, Harden in overtime, I think the Rockets could have won, but Harden kind of fouled out, and I feel like from there it was like downhill. The Thunder went on a 12-0 run, so
We had so many
I was
opportunities to win that game.
yeah.
I think I think that game there were like so many missed threes near the end, and it was just the players just not being clutch. Like that's I don't know, like what the Rockets mode or something, right? Like live by the three, die by the three. And I mean, and even like this season or this series, Harden's shooting. He's attempting 12 threes per game. So I think it's just Harden and Eric Gordon shooting. Like he's shooting 30%, Eric Gordon shooting 15%, which is just horrible for like a really good three. Well, if you want to be a really good 3-point shooting team. And then also what someone earlier said about the Thunder not playing to the Rockets system. I think that if the Thunder continue to do what they did in Game 3 and the Rockets don't get better at shooting, at least from Gordon and Harden, then the Thunder could like I mean, it's possible for the Thunder to just win the next 4 games. That's what the Raptors did against the Bucks last last year in the conference final. So it's definitely possible for the Bucks. I mean, for the Thunder to just like win the next 4 games and win in 6.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
because Mike D'Antoni made some like really questionable moves in late game, and also we like Rockets had so many opportunities to win. Like on the last one of the last possessions in the fourth quarter, PJ Tucker he just threw the ball away.
Yeah, that was so
yeah.
frustrating to watch. I feel
OKC found the rhythm, and the Rockets are just trash, so they can't keep up with them.
like
We had a big game from the Thunder guards. Shea, Schroeder, and Chris Paul had like 25 plus.
uh I don't know why, but like in the beginning of the overtime, I feel like D'Antoni saw that James Harden fouled out, and he just like told Eric Gordon to be the new Harden. And he tried to drive one time, and he missed, and then he tried to shoot like some BS like pull up, and that also missed. I just feel like without James Harden, um, I feel like or with James Harden, they would definitely would have won that game. And then also, he needs to stop getting into foul trouble because throughout these games he's been having like through the bubble too. Like he's having like 4 or 5 fouls a game.
Yeah, the one thing the Rockets have though is like if they start like losing another game, they can just deploy Westbrook and
Yeah, like he hasn't
take
even
for that
been
option.
playing. It's
Yeah, I
Wait,
I I,
didn't
I don't think the Rockets can lose this series because if
there's no
Westbrook's
way.
healthy, yeah, they can just bring Westbrook in if they need to.
Plus, why was Robert Covington not in the game? Like he's their best defender, and you're just not gonna play him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
also like
Well,
that, like
when
that.
does Westbrook come back? Does anyone know, or is it
They're
still
they're
unsure?
they're just resting him right now because they don't need him because they want to make
Hello?
sure they need there for the Lakers series.
Hello?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Hello.
he's ready to come back.
Ayush, we
Wait,
can
hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
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 Okay, I had internet problems, so I lagged out of my own meeting. All right, yeah. What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about the Rockets series and Westbrook right now, I guess.
Yeah,
Didn't he foul out? Didn't Harden foul out that game?
yeah, yeah. I feel like whenever Westbrook comes back, I feel like this is gonna be a whole different series.
No,
The
I think they're gonna
Thunder
win.
just
They
not
could beat him without.
the
They could beat
Thunder.
them without Westbrook.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but like if Westbrook comes back, I just feel like that the Thunder will not be able to keep up with like the energy of this small ball lineup. Steven Adams is gonna be left in the dust. Um, and yeah, it's just gonna be smooth
Wait,
sailing for
what
the
if the
Rockets at
Rockets
that point.
like they don't try as hard in Game 4 so that they can get Westbrook, so that Westbrook will be like it's more likely Westbrook will be able to play, and then they can have Westbrook have some experience before the second round, right? So he can like get back into things.
You don't want
Why
to
would they
risk
want
that
to do
though.
that?
Yeah, you don't
So
want to
that
risk.
No,
West,
don't risk that.
What if Harden
It's
gets
the
injured?
playoffs. Not anyone get injured. What if the
You
Thunder just
shouldn't
take a
just
game?
like you should never just purposely lose a playoff game.
probably not. I don't know. It was just
And they can practice. Bro, imagine like
Like even if you're up 3-0, there's still no point to lose. And secondly, if you lose like game 4 or something, then
then
your
it's
whole team has to
2-2.
play another game to get the win. And then if you lose game 5, you really have a high chance of losing.
dude, imagine you're in the bubble and like Paul George like goes to go eat lunch at the cafeteria and he like meets Damian Lillard like in the middle of the cafeteria.
That would
That'd
be
be kind of
so
weird.
What was
awkward.
that?
Yeah, they do that stuff. Didn't what's that guy Jamal Murray post like a picture of or like a video of Mitchell after he
Donovan
scored
Mitchell.
57? He was like, that man just dropped 57.
All right, let's move on to the next series.
What was the next series?
Let's talk
Oh
Next.
yeah,
Nuggets.
Lakers. Oh,
Yeah, so the Nuggets Jazz. So, the
Okay, yeah. Here, let me introduce this. So in the Denver series, Donovan Mitchell has been playing out of his mind. The Jazz are lucky enough to have him play consistently, which he's been having some problems with in other playoff series. But if they want them to win, they're gonna need more of like these performances from Mike Conley, like he did in the last game where he had like, well, I think it was like 5 for 5 from three or something. He scored 22 points. They're gonna need more they're going to need better performances from Jordan Clarkson, who's also been performing pretty well, and also Royce O'Neal. And then if you watch some of the Jazz games, Royce O'Neal is turning into more of a facilitator, which is definitely going to take the load off of Donovan Mitchell. And then finally, Utah was starting to target Michael Porter Jr. to perform, and they let him try to beat the Jazz. And as a young player, that was kind of hard for Michael Porter Jr., and he kind of gave up that game.
I
Did you
think
know
Mike
that Rudy Gobert gets targeted in the pick and roll? I saw something on People Breakdown or something where like he gets put in like 10 or 12 pick and rolls every single game, and you'd expect more from a defensive player of the year.
I mean, he's more of a paint presence because he can't really guard like perimeter players.
we
Do
saw
you
this in
think he
the
deserved defensive player of the year? Or like maybe he deserved the award, but he I don't think he was ever the best defender in the league. There was never a time he was the best.
in my opinion, perimeter defenders are better than post defend. Like whenever I think
No,
of the
because
best
I mean,
defender, I think of like
like
Marcus Smart.
2015, 16, those times Kawhi was the best defender because he played so much harder on that side. 2017, Draymond was the best defender. No one's gonna tell me otherwise. And then 18, 19, I don't know if he was the best defender. Maybe he deserved the award, like for the best defensive season, but he was not the best defender.
Probably Kawhi, yeah. Or I think Paul George, wasn't he close to a DPOY candidate?
He was a
Last year, Paul George
finalist.
might
He
have
was a
been the best.
finalist.
Last year,
Yeah.
Paul George might have been the best
No,
defender.
2018, Kawhi was not a good defender because he played like 10 games. So
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
that season, he didn't deserve it that year.
All right. I feel like I underestimated the Jazz, but I don't. I still think the Nuggets can win in 7. I think this series is one of those series that could actually go to 7. I
Yeah.
originally had Nuggets in 5 because I thought the Nuggets were just so much better. But after seeing these games, the Jazz could have easily won Game 1 as well. It could have been a 3-0 series right now.
Wait, why exactly are the Nuggets like losing? Like all their players are shooting like good from the field and three. Like
No,
Jokic is
I said this earlier. They're a well-built team. You don't need a well-built team in the playoffs. All you need are stars. Like I remember, like from personal experience in 2016, the Spurs team we had won 67 games, and we were an amazing team. And yet we lost to the Thunder because Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant simply couldn't be stopped. Same thing happened to the Raptors in 2018. They had a good bench. That bench gave them a good record and everything. But in the playoffs, LeBron played 42 minutes. All their good players played like 40 minutes, and they couldn't keep up. That's the problem with the Nuggets are having.
Mike Conley shooting 87 from three.
He's having the Fred VanVleet effect. After his child was born, he just plays crazy.
Imagine Gordon Hayward when he comes back.
All right, let's just move on to the Eastern Conference now.
All right.
Um,
Wait, hold on. Yeah,
the
okay,
Bucks
okay,
the
yeah.
Bucks series was really the Bucks series was. I don't think anyone expected us to expected the Bucks to drop game 1, but they for games 2 and 3 they look like the superior team, which they are. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a 1-1 series score. I don't see the Magic
Wait,
winning.
it's 1-1 or 2? It's 2-1.
It's 2
Yeah,
to 1.
2-1, 2-1, 2-1. Sorry. I don't see the Magic winning another game, but does it call for concern though? Because like to me it does. Because seeing Middleton just disappear, and same thing with Brook Lopez just disappearing, and same thing with Bledsoe just disappearing. They need their
Add
secondary
to that,
stars.
Giannis had like 30.
Yeah,
Giannis had 30. No one on the Magic went off for like 40, and they didn't have Aaron Gordon.
yeah,
But it's one
Jonathan
game, man.
Isaac.
It's one
Jonathan
game.
Isaac's also not there.
they need their secondary stars to start showing up because, like, now defenses
Stars in quotation marks.
Yeah. defenses are gonna start catering their defensive systems towards Giannis, and if their supporting players are gonna like play like this, then the
There's
Jazz
no
are
way
gonna.
they're making
I
the
mean, the
finals.
Bucks are
Yeah.
not gonna have any.
Middleton is garbage. He always
The
chokes in the
Bucks are the
playoffs,
safest.
and he can't
I
create his
think-
own shot.
But I honestly
can.
think the Bucks are the safest
He can.
are the safest bet to win the finals. Like if you're an investor or a bettor, you'd probably pick on the Bucks, bet on the Bucks, because the chances of them making it to the finals are higher than any other team from the West.
And then
Wait, to
Eric
win the
Bledsoe's taking
finals?
pull-up threes and
No, to
transition
make it to the
threes when he
finals.
can't hit them.
Oh, okay. I think the best bet to win the finals is like the Clippers. Like, I think the Raptors have a better chance than the. I think the Raptors will make like based on how the Bucks are playing right now. I think that like so basically the reason the Magic won, as I said this like before the podcast, is that they make like they drive so that Brook Lopez will like go like in the post and which leaves Vucevic open for three. Also, Vucevic can like post up Lopez because he's just stronger. Kelly Olynyk can't post up. I don't think he can as good. He can try, but
I
he can
don't think. I don't think.
he can
I
definitely
think
shoot threes. I think the Heat will take 2 to 3 games.
The Raptors, like by far have the best chemistry in the bubble,
Yeah.
no,
and
not chemistry.
also
What I think they have
yeah,
above any other team is that they have like experience in beating the Bucks. The same thing that applied to like the Nuggets and the old Raptors teams where they had a good team but no stars. That might apply for them again this year. But the one thing they have is they've already beaten Giannis,
they
and
also have
they
the
might have
best.
they have a
They also
blueprint for that.
they also have the best defensive rating out of anybody in the bubble.
And I think that should bring
So
us to our next series, which is Raptors
yeah,
Nets.
they okay.
Yeah, unless anyone has anything else to say about the
I
Bucks.
mean, this series, I don't know if there's
It's a
that much to
sweep.
talk about even. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a sweep.
5-1.
It's not
I
I mean,
think
close.
4-1.
I think the Raptors will actually have a harder time with the Celtics than the Bucks because I think that series Raptors Celtics is going to be a really
No,
intriguing.
the Celtics is more evenly matched with the Bucks. They have some better positions, but then they don't have anyone to guard Giannis. Whereas the Celtics and Raptors, they're almost they're if you look at their rosters, they're pretty evenly matched. They've got Kemba, they've got Kyle Lowry. At shooting guard, I don't know who they have. I think Fred VanVleet, and they've got Jalen Brown, who's almost an all-star. Siakam and Tatum pretty much cancel out, and actually no, Brown and Hayward cancel out. Marcus Gasol and all these guys are
Wait, is
also
Hayward gonna be
decent
ready
offensive players.
by the second round?
No,
Is he?
No, he's
No.
not. He's out for 4 weeks.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
didn't
he
know
might
that.
be there like in like Game 6 and Game 7 if that happens, but love to see. I think
All right, yeah. Go ahead.
Let's move
yeah.
on to the Celtics
I mean, yeah. Let's
series.
move on to the Celtics
It's
series. 'Cause they're
Celtics
all like
Sixers.
connect. They're all connected.
I
All right.
honest to
I'm
God don't know
disappointed.
why. I don't know why everyone
Yeah.
is counting on this is disappointing the 76ers. I think Ben Simmons was their best player, and them not having him doesn't really like I don't know. And the Celtics are a good team, so let's not take away from them. And then they were also like the Rockets of the West, or they're volatile. We knew they could go out in the first round, or they could make it to the finals. They had that type of potential.
The Sixers have no one else other than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has been the only person performing in this playoff series. And also they're getting absolutely nothing from their support, or they're getting something from like some of their players, but Tobias Harris, which is pretty much their secondary star, is playing
Tobias Harris
like
and Al
horrible,
Horford.
especially in the clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both playing
Also,
I thought Al
horrible,
Horford would
especially in
step
the
up.
clutch.
He always
Yeah.
did for the Celtics, but Tobias Harris, I just want to go on a rant here. The most overpaid player in the league by far. He did not deserve his $40 million a year. Never been an All-Star, never All NBA, and yet he makes more than so many other good players.
yeah. But one more thing is like Brad Stevens is just so much a better coach than Brent Brown as well.
Yeah.
I think Brent Brown should be fired this offseason.
Yeah, Brett Brown is in the hot seat definitely for this offseason.
I think
Tobias?
they have a similar situation to what the Dallas Cowboys did, where they have a good roster and then they're just not performing for whatever the reason.
Tobias Harris is 0 for 10 this series from 3. And Al
Exactly.
Horford averaging
40. They're
5
paying you
points.
$40 million to brick threes.
His mentality is really bad.
Like,
I think
you
that-
pay me $5, I'll hit 1 3. I won't
No,
brick
but like,
Horford.
who
Actually,
are
no,
they
I'll
gonna
probably brick
trade?
all the time.
Who are they gonna trade Horford or Harris for? Like, they should have. I don't know why they signed Harris and not Butler. They should have went in for Butler. I don't
they
think
didn't
the
even offer
Sixers
Butler a
have a.
I think
I don't
Butler
think-
did. He
No,
didn't
Butler
want to
wanted
resign.
out. Butler didn't
Yeah.
want to stay.
No, they didn't even offer him a contract though. Like the details came out about it.
Yeah,
And, like,
he talked. You know
No,
that segment he talked with like
I'm not
JJ
signing.
Redick.
They didn't offer
On
JJ
that, on
Redick a
that
contract
podcast,
either.
yeah.
I
That
don't
was
think the Sixers really have a bright future. Like, it looked good before, but now with all these like weird contracts and bad coaching, they didn't like replace him. I don't think it's looking good. And as soon as
I mean,
think-
who do they give? Tobias Harris makes $40 million, meaning And even the only guy who I can think you trade for him is like Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry, but those guys are like far superior to him. So I don't know why you do that.
Brett Brown was a good coach for the process, but like now that he's like in serious playoff contention, he just like he just doesn't know like what to do,
All
and
right,
it's
let's
like
move
really
on
sad to
to.
see all this wasted talent.
All right,
All right, let's move on to the Heat series. The Heat are up 3-0, right? 3-0
yeah,
right now,
yeah.
right?
I didn't expect that.
I still feel like the Pacers will take a game. I feel like TJ Warren will have another one of those breakout bubble games where he goes off. But overall, the Heat are completely outplaying the Pacers. Victor Oladipo has pretty much turned into a non-factor as their second best player. Um, and also, I'm very impressed with these young shooters like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Harrow. As young players, they really stepped up, and with little playoff experience, they've still been like pretty much some of their best players.
Yeah, I watched all the games in the series, and I feel like the Pacers actually been playing really good. It's just that the Heat are getting so many more like 3-point looks that I feel like the Heat are just able to get like more points. And in Game 3, the Heat had 52 free throws, which was like really high, and I feel like the refs kind of like called a lot of unnecessary fouls that they shouldn't have called, which led to the Pacers loss. So. I still think the Heat will probably win in 4 though. I don't see the Pacers winning the next game because
Are the Pacers like a historically like clutch team in the playoffs? Because they got
not
No,
swept
they get
last year.
swept all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Sabonis.
good. They were good.
Sabonis is
They were
there though.
good for in like 13 and 14, and then 2018 they were like the surprise team in the playoffs, and then they've just been trash for the other years.
Yeah, but Sabonis isn't really playing, and in my opinion, he's their best player, and I feel like that really lost.
That
I
really
like
hurt them, but I
yeah.
think even with Sabonis, the Heat are still a better team.
Yeah,
Um,
and the loss
Really,
of Yee. They lost a player named Yee.
I
So
think the
yeah,
Pacers would actually win with Sabonis. I feel like if you watch the games, the Pacers are outplaying the Heat. It's just that the Heat are just able to hit a lot more shots. The Pacers
All
are
right,
kind of
well,
camping them.
all right, all right.
that's
Yeah, all right.
all
That
for
wraps
this
up. That was pretty.
episode.
Wait, hold on. That was the last series, right?
Yep.
All
Yeah, the
right. So
Pacers are
that
missing the presence of Yu.
yeah, yeah. So that wraps up the fifth ever episode of the Ritz podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/the Ritz pod, or you can find us at YouTube at the Ritz podcast.
Wait,
Thank
Torian Prince, if you're listening, please follow us.
yeah. Torian Prince, please play Warzone with me or two.
We're your biggest fans.
Yeah, we're your
The Nets
biggest
would be
supporters.
up 3-0 if you were playing.